Dads of Reddit, how did you find out that your daughter was passed around in high school? I was picking my 16-year-old daughter up from her dance practice, and I start talking to see how she is doing in school. She says that this semester was her best yet and that she got a 2.5 GPA. My daughter is really stupid, so I see this as a win. Anyways, when we get home, I see bruises all over her foot, and I ask her what happened today. She said nothing, really, and she proceeds to get on with her day. A few minutes later, she says, "Dad, we need to go to the doctor's office. I have bumps on my private area. I am curious and say, wow, this is serious. We need to go tomorrow." So I drive her to the doctor and get the report back that she is positive for about every STD imaginable. The doctor also adds that her coochie has been stretched to the maximum and that he believes the number of partners she has slept with is in the triple digits. I ask how this is even possible, as I didn't even think that was remotely possible. Anyways, I found out that she has her own business in the bathroom stalls that for $100 she will bang you for 10 minutes as a father. I was extremely frustrated and took away her ice cream privileges for a week, and she now has to help me mow the lawn. Months went by, and despite my efforts to keep a close eye on my daughter, it seemed like she was slipping further into a reckless lifestyle. I doled out taking away her phone for a day or grounding her for a weekend proved ineffective. She was determined to live her life on her own terms. Consequences be damned, I tried having heart-to-heart conversations, expressing my concerns and emphasizing the importance of self-respect and making responsible choices, but it was as if my words fell on deaf ears. My daughter was determined to explore her newfound freedom, with consequences yet to be felt. Then one day I received a call from the school principal. I was asked to come in for an urgent meeting. Anxiety gnawed at my insides as I made my way to the school, dreading what I might hear. The principal's office felt stifling, and the air hung heavy with tension. I took a seat, my palms clammy, and listened as the principal began to speak. "You have uncovered a deeply troubling situation involving your daughter," the principal started, their voice filled with a mix of concern and disappointment. My heart sank. The principal hesitated, then continued, "It has come to our attention that your daughter has been involved in an intimate relationship with one of her teachers." Shock waves coursed through my veins, and I felt anger, betrayal, and despair swirling inside me. How could this happen? How did I fail to protect her? Tears welled up in my eyes as I struggled to comprehend the enormity of the situation. I managed to find my voice choked with emotion. What? What are you going to do about it?" The principal assured me that they were taking the matter seriously and would be launching a thorough investigation. Little comfort. I felt like I had lost my daughter to a world I couldn't understand or control. Days turned into weeks as the investigation unfolded and the truth gradually emerged. It was a painful process, filled with questions, interviews, and the unsettling revelation of an abuse of power. The teacher involved faced severe consequences, but the damage had already been done. As a father, I grappled with feelings of guilt and responsibility. What more could I have done to protect my daughter? How did I miss the signs? The weight of those questions pressed upon me relentlessly. I sought professional help for my daughter. Therapy became a vital part of her healing process, providing a safe space for her to confront the emotional turmoil that she had endured. For me, it was a time of reflection and growth. I had to learn to let go of my anger and accept that my daughter's choices were ultimately her own. Punishments and restrictions could only go so far. What she needed was love, support, and guidance. Our journey towards healing was far from over, but we navigated it together, hand in hand. My daughter began to rebuild her life, and I found solace in knowing that I would always be there for her no matter what. Lesson, one that reminded me of the importance of empathy, understanding, and open communication. As a father, I realized that sometimes love means giving space for mistakes, but always offering a hand to help pick up the pieces. Months turned into years, and my daughter's journey took unexpected turns that left me feeling both bewildered and disheartened as she turned 18. She made a decision that shattered my hopes and pushed the boundaries of my understanding. I stumbled across her adult entertainment videos purely by accident, my curiosity leading me down an internet rabbit hole. The shock that washed over me was overwhelming. There she was, my own flesh and blood, engaging in explicit acts, pushing the limits of her body and her self-expression. I couldn't help but feel a surge of disappointment and sadness. I had hoped for a different path for her, one filled with stability and self-respect. Seeing her cover herself with Sharpie or engage in other peculiar acts left me feeling utterly understand why she chose this path for herself. In the midst of my confusion and frustration, I reached out to her. We sat down together and I poured out my emotions, struggling to find the right words. I expressed my disappointment, my concerns, and my genuine fear for her well-being. To my surprise, her response wasn't one of defensiveness or defiance. Instead, she looked at me with eyes filled with both vulnerability and strength. "Dad, this is who I am. I understand your disappointment, but I need you to accept me for who I am." Her words hit me like a punch to the gut. It was a wake-up call, a moment of realization that I had been so caught up in my own expectations and judgments that I had failed to truly see my daughter for who she was becoming, an individual with her own desires, dreams, and choices. Times had been tough for me, and as I struggled to make ends meet, I found myself swallowing my pride and turning to her for financial support. It was a difficult decision, one that tested the limits of our relationship as I hesitantly approached her, seeking assistance. She looked at me with a mixture of compassion and understanding, and in that moment, I saw the resilience that had been forged within her through her own struggles. "Dad, I'll help you," she said softly, "but it comes with a condition. You have to accept me as I am without judgment or resentment. I need you to see beyond my choices and love me unconditionally." With a heavy heart, I accepted her condition. It was a pivotal moment in our relationship, one that required me to let go of my preconceived notions and open my heart to love without conditions. The end.